3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, we are in the after show portion of Gun Talk. I'm Tom Gresham, and we are joined today by Michelle Cleland over there. Hey, Michelle.
Hello.
Hey, and Tom Hennig's with us. Hey, Tom.
Hello. There's been a mutiny.
We fired Jim.
We've cast him ashore.
He was bad. We had to send him from the timeout corner.
All right, so you tell people what he's actually doing.
He has a benefit to play. His band is playing for a little fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser. Jim actually, he didn't want people to know. He does a lot of charitable work. Good for him for doing that. We're happy to take this on. So, Michelle, you're sending me notes during the show. We're talking about leather holsters.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, do people even still make leather holsters?
I know, they do. Amazing.
And you mentioned us, Safariland, Bianchi. They make good stuff.
They do, yeah.
And it's not crazy. It's not crazy expensive like the custom ones.
No, you're probably looking somewhere between, I don't know, $50 to $75 probably get you into a good entry-level holster. It just depends on, what you're looking for. Do you want, a thumb snap? Do you, want open? Do you want it on the belt? How do you want to carry it? But goodness.
I want it low slung. I want a string I can tie around my leg.
More of a thigh option.
That's right. Exactly right. That's right.
Yeah. But
and if I can get me a 2-gun rig, I'm real happy.
It's something you could put that sawed-off shotgun into.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. But no, they're great leather makers. I mean, they've been making leather holsters for a long time. That's what most of the police departments used. I mean, they have their basket weave.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, great holster company.
The one thing I have found is you have to be careful. Even some, and it surprised me, one particular holster maker with a good name making leather holsters. And I was looking at him at a show, and I said, these don't stay open, when you take the gun. He says, yeah, big deal. Once you got the gun out, who cares?
Oh, you got to get back.
You got to be able to holster your gun with one hand. He said, no, you just hold it open. I go, no. In other words, I'm holding the holster open with my left hand. And with my right hand, I'm moving the muzzle into the holster. Now, what do I do if I don't have that left hand? I mean, you got to be able to holster your gun one-handed.
Toss the gun and run?
Like, I'm thinking,
what do you do?
What?
Well,
it's like you're talking to them and thinking, do they know anything about what we do with these guns and holsters?
A lot of people carry like the little inexpensive suede holsters just for something that's cheap inside the waistband type of deal. But you can get, and what we're talking about, of course, is getting something that is molded. So even though it's leather, it's molded. So it's molded specifically to guns, 1911s, exactly, yes. Glocks, whatever it might be.
It's not a pouch.
Right.
It's a holster that your particular gun will fit in, and when it's in there, it has pretty good retention. You can roll around on the ground; it's not going to come out. But the other thing it has is usually they have like a, I don't know if they must use steel, some kind of a steel band inside the mouth of the holster that keeps it open when you take the gun out. I guess, and I've also seen them with maybe a double layer of leather. It's very stiff. In other words, the leather holster won't fold up on itself.
Right. And there's so many people anymore that have gotten, I think, into the leather arts. I'm going to call it an art because it's an amazing craftsmanship. Yeah. And, they're putting different colors of the leather. So they're two-tone leathers, but kind of the same thing you're referring to. They build them up so they're really heavy, both at the muzzle end and at the top of the gun where you would first be putting the holster back or putting the gun back into the holster, rather. So when you're reholstering at the top of the holster, it's nice and thick and built up like what you said. But, they do have leather over the kydex, too.
Really?
Some companies make that. So
I wasn't aware of that.
Interesting.
So you can find, different
for those
things.
That would be for people who really cannot decide.
Right, best of both worlds. Yeah.
What you like, kydex? You like leather? I just don't know. Well, we have a holster for you.
Well, and there's the whole debate over whether or not you really need that thumb snap safety. Like, do you need that strap coming across the top?
I'm not a fan. My very first ones, like a million years ago, had a snap on it.
It just seems like another thing that could get in your way and something else could go wrong.
Right.
If you do have it, you got to practice a lot with them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Breaking that open. And you can use your thumb to break them open, but
Sure.
you don't hope that the strap doesn't get in the way of pulling the gun from the holster.
My first carry holster, before I got my Milt Sparks, I was carrying a 1911 in probably was a Yankee, thumb brake holster for a 1911, and you just learn that when you grab the pistol, and they're made in such a way that your thumb will push on it and pop open the snap, so it comes open. But it's a lot of stuff, and to your point, Tom, it's another thing that can go wrong because now you've got this piece of leather that folds over the thumb brake deal, and when you're reholstering, now that's in your way.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's not in the way when you're unholstering.
No.
Or when you're getting it out of the way.
Right.
You're trying to make sure that it's out of the way, yeah.
I still think the whole, just tie a string into the trigger guard and put it around your neck.
Well, that was one of the comments that I had typed over to you because you were talking about with women, and I said carry it well. You really have to learn how to carry your pistol well and not necessarily hidden, although that's the whole object to concealed carry, but in a place that you can get to it quickly.
Well, and it is, we've talked about this a lot, it's more difficult for women. The clothes are different, and people say, well, carry it in a purse. Well, we've talked about the problems with that. You put your purse down, your gun's over there.
Right.
And it's vulnerable to being, picked up, or a kid finds it. It's so much better if it's on you. What do you think, Michelle, of the, whatever you call it, the concept of belly bands?
I like a belly band. I've used the belly band.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. And I would say the biggest downfall, at least for me, has been the fact it's for those people who don't know, it's a very wide elastic band, and it's Velcro, and it's universal, so it's for a revolver or for a semi-auto. And if you're right-handed, you wear it one way, and if you're left-handed, you flip it over and wear it the other way. So it works great. They're probably $50, $60. For me, I have to make sure that I have a tank top or something underneath it because after a while of wearing it, especially in the heat, which is when I would want to wear it, would be in the summertime, it kind of digs in on the skin a little bit. So you need
a
little barrier
garment underneath it, and then you put the belly band around it, then you put your shirt over the top of it.
Yep. But I find that being a great option. It's easy to get to because you can easily pull up a shirt tail. And even if you can't, you can get underneath your shirt tail, as I'm sitting here simulating this. You can get underneath your shirt tail to be able to get to the pistol if that's what you need to do. So I think that's a great option.
I think it's a good option for men and women, actually.
Yeah, we sell quite a few to men.
Tom, how are you carrying these days?
I'm still using that alien gear inside the waistband.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's tuckable, right?
Yeah, it is.
So do you wear a shirt tail out, or do you tuck in when you're using that?
Most of the time, I wear it out. One occasion, I did the tuck thing. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was, the little clips, of course, are still showing.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, your clips are showing on your belt, but the reality is nobody notices.
Right. Most people are going to think it's for a phone.
Another gun person might notice.
And that was my feeling exactly when I was walking into because I was taking somebody out to a nice restaurant. And, walking in, I'm thinking, if anybody else is a carry person, they might know what it is. Anybody else probably just assume it's for a phone or something.
Right.
If anybody really ask they're pointed, you say, no, that's the clips from my colostomy bag. Leave me alone.
Oh, my God.
And I tell you, that'll shut up the conversation right there.
Wow.
Great.
See, there you go. You just got to have one ready in case that comes up. And with that, I think we probably need to take a break while we process that one. We'll be right back.
Stand for the Second Amendment with Franklin Armory. Their 3-position BFS Gen 3 trigger is one of the hottest products for your AR, HK, ACR, CZ, and B&T in curved and straight variations. In position 3, fire 1 round on pull and 1 round on release. Ideal for both tactical and competition use. Get a 10% discount on everything with the code word GUNTALK at franklinarmory.com.
Trust Inceptor ARX, preferred defense for your self-defense ammunition. It features patented technology and an advanced lead-free polymer copper material for unprecedented terminal performance. Its non-hollow point round nose design means it feeds flawlessly and won't plug or fail to transfer energy on impact. Lightweight projectiles reduce weight in your carry gun and add velocity to all loads and calibers. Inceptor ARX is available in all popular handgun calibers. Learn more at InceptorAmmo.com.
All right, we're back with Med Talk. No. Just kind of got weird there, but then again, it always does during the after show, doesn't it?
Well, Tom took over Jim's spot well.
That's true. Somebody's got to go weird.
Tied up in the corner.
Here. Who's going to handle that?
Oh, my.
Oh, gosh. We were talking about the belly band. I kind of like that. Certainly, it's a good option for women, but it's actually, I know a lot of guys that carry that way. A friend of mine has been carrying with a belly band for 25 years and carries a Glock.
Well, you don't have to change the way that you would normally dress, because if all of a sudden you change up your dress, somebody's going to be like, hey, what's going on or what's up? In the summertime, no one really thinks about a shirt being untucked, but there's those people that want to have everything put together with that finished, polished look, and that's, to them, that's what it is. But yeah, with the belly band, you don't have to change the way that you dress now. It might be a little harder to have access to the pistol.
Well, that's one thing that happens is when you go deeper concealment, it slows down access. No doubt about it. But I mean, this guy, when he's wearing business suit, he's got a belly band, underneath his shirt. And yeah, you'd have to reach down and rip your shirt tail out to get to it. Or some people will actually they'll wear shirts that have snaps with fake buttons.
Right.
Now, you can just grab it, rip it open, the snaps pop open, and you slide your hand in sideways, and now your hand's on your pistol. It's actually a pretty fast way to draw, wouldn't it be?
It is a fast way to draw. The downfall is the fact of reholstering, right, because it's an elastic band.
Yes.
You don't have any kind of rigidity to be able to reholster.
And honestly, probably in that situation, I would just stick it in a pants pocket.
Right.
Yeah, because if it's got to come out, then you put it away. If you had to fire a shot, then you're just waiting for the police to get there. And if you didn't, I'm still calling the cops. As soon as you pull it out, you need to be making a call. Another way to go, I'm thinking about this for women, but also just people who are trying to work around dress, is the ankle carry. Now, Michelle, have you ever tried ankle?
I never have. Nope.
It's weird. There are a few places where it makes some sense that it could be advantageous from a car. You could draw that way. But, man, any other way, I've tried it. The only really good way to draw, you got to, drop down to a knee. Say it's on your left, inside, if you're shooting right-handed, inside of your left ankle.
Right.
You drop down to your right knee. With two hands, you yank up your pants leg, and then you make your draw. That's a lot to do.
Yeah. Well, and it gets complicated because people who wear boots, or you need the bootlegged pants, or it changes everything. I think now that we have more of the tactical type of wear, it changes some of that. But
that's true.
Yeah, but I think for most people who just wear denim blue jeans, you have to be real specific about what you buy and how they fit around all that. I don't know. They allow all that in a dressing room?
Well, they do when I go there, let me tell you.
Right. But they don't know.
When I'm in there, I'm carefully taking off my gun and putting it over there. Now, what I don't do,
is supposed to be closed.
It never comes out of the holster.
Right.
If it comes off, it stays in the holster. That way the trigger guard is never exposed.
Yeah, you're never taking a chance.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. It's just don't. Every time you handle it, we talk about that, you injecting a chance for something to go wrong.
Right.
There that is. All right, Tom, I got to ask you a question here, and we'll switch on you.
Okay.
You've been carrying for what, 2 years now, maybe?
I got my permit in April of last year. So
okay. So
just,
a little over
just
a year.
over a year.
All right. And when you first carried, you had that same deal of, feeling like everybody knows I'm carrying, I've got a sign over me, man with a gun.
Yeah.
Are you over all of that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so it's like wearing a belt or something else.
Sure.
Does the subject come up with your friends? Do your friends know you carry?
Some of them do. When I first started carrying, made a big mistake in front of one of my friends because I had told him I was getting my permit and all that, and was we were talking about the experience, and I had actually just recently had a surgery for a hernia repair, and he was going to have the same thing done. He was asking me questions about it, and he goes, well, what about scars? I'm like, oh, let me show you. I lifted my shirt up to show him the scar. I'm like, oh, I just flashed my gun at you. I'm sorry.
Well, that's part of how we learn, right? Going, okay, I don't want to be doing that again. That's funny. You do learn to maneuver, whether you're in a store, you're reaching up for a shelf, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, right. There's other people where they know I have my license, but I'm not sure if they are aware that I'm carrying when I'm with them. It's just not on their mind.
Or you're doing a really good job.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah, if they don't know, then you're doing it right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And I wouldn't be volunteering it because it's going to be just your luck. It'll be that person's with you when somebody stops you to rob you. They say, well, Tom, you take care of the gun.
Right.
Thanks. Appreciate all the help I'm getting here.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Sarah, another quick break here. Let's come back. Let's talk a little bit about real-world carrying and things that you can learn only by doing it. We'll be right back.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training, and you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better, no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
All right, we're back. We're talking about when you start carrying, it's weird for a while, and then it gets to be comfortable. But we do make these, I don't know if they're mistakes, guys, or if it's a case of figuring out how to operate. I was thinking about, Michelle, depending on how you're carrying, you bend over in your gun prints,
mm-hmm.
you know, with your shirt, that kind of a thing.
Right. Well, I had
any thoughts?
I had the same phobia the first time I went to the grocery store. You know, shopping for different things, reaching up, and you're like, oh gosh, like you want to look to see if your gun is showing, you know, because you're not quite certain if your shirt's covering
so you sit
that
there
far
and
or
pat
not.
yourself down every time, right?
You're like, and then I realized that I'm the only person that's really paying that much attention. Mm-hmm. Nobody else is paying that close of attention. But you do go through this whole beginner cycle of, and I mean, just honesty, you're going to have some nicks or bruises or, you know, different areas that kind of have to get worn depending on the kind of gun that you're wearing to the holster and to the grip. And so you have all that to work through. I mean, there is some, you know, a good week where it's like, oh my gosh, it's so tender. But you get calloused to it. Well,
you know, and we end up talking about things that normally you wouldn't talk about. For instance, if you're in a hot, humid environment with a Kydex plastic holster, you can get heat rash.
Right. And
you know, you're going, okay, well, now what do I do?
In and out of a car is going to depend on how you carry and where you carry on your body. You know, if you carry more toward the side or toward the front. I'm not a big fan of carrying at the back. That's just me.
Yeah, me either. I'm kind of a 4 o'clock position kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I find that it does change the way I dismount the vehicle. Because I ride in a Jeep, it sits up a little high,
So what you do is you take your gun, you drop it out the window, and then you go and pick it up off the ground.
He's got
What could go wrong?
You know the little tree stand rigs that you use to bring your bow up and your gun up?
Oh, you got one of those rigs that's that high? Okay. He throws out the ladder and climbs down from his truck. Lowers his gun down on a string like a bow hunter does or something.
It doesn't sit that high.
But it could.
It could. Yeah, it could, definitely.
If you just keep throwing money at them, they just get higher and higher, don't they?
Well, that's what Jeep stands for. Just empty every pocket.
Ooh, I like it. No kidding.
But there's a lot to carrying. I mean, we've talked about it, like you said, so many times. To do it right, you don't want anybody to realize it. You don't want to make too much movement with it. But, in bending over and doing your usual movements, you find ways that you can just self-adjust. Just moving the wrist a little bit if you have to move the holster to the left or to the right. It actually becomes very easy once you start doing it. But when you first start, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. It seems deflating.
I well remember Clint Smith saying, hey, it's a lifestyle change.
It is.
You are going to change your lifestyle in so many ways that you can't imagine.
Right. The type of holster is crucial. And like you've said before, a good belt is crucial. But then it changes your clothing. It changes your sizing. It changes how tight some people decide to wear their clothing. I mean.
That's true. Yeah. You go a little bit looser because it's better for concealment.
Right. And then you realize it's not so bad. It's not that uncomfortable. You just have to keep working with it. But you can be extremely active and still have full control of a firearm. You can be a runner, you can be a biker, you can be all those things and still have complete control of your firearm.
Well, and Tom, you're about at the point now into your journey where you start thinking about, I may need to consider having a second gun, a second rig for different kinds of situations where I'm carrying or what I'm wearing or what I'm doing. It's like it never ends. Yeah,
with what I'm wearing, especially in the summertime, and thinking about maybe getting a little bodyguard or something, just a little smaller.
Bodyguard, LCP, that kind. I mean, there's a real place for those super small guns. What's the little SIG, Michelle?
938 and 238.
Oh,
yeah. Those are just teeny tiny little guys, and they shoot great. I love those little pistols. And, when you're wearing a pair of shorts and, a T-shirt or even a tank top, and there's nowhere to conceal, it's really difficult. One of those in a decent, safe pocket holster is not a bad way to go.
And anymore, I think that's the style, the cargo pant, the cargo shorts. So it's not like you're going to be dressing so differently from anybody else. Nobody's even going to know.
That's true.
You know what you're doing, Tom?
That's true.
He's enabling.
Yes.
He is enabling because he knows my birthday's coming up the end of this month, and I'm going to have to buy myself something
right now. He's spending money. See, we're spending his money, Michelle.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
Well, this time I'll check and make sure the store is open.
I can tell you, we have LCPs, we have the 938, we have the little Glock 42 or 43 you can try.
Wow, she just switched it on that fast.
What she doesn't have, what she wishes she had, is the SIG P365.
No kidding. I wish I had one every day.
You're finding those. Oh, man, I bet. I mean, you could sell one every day.
Yes, you could. We have a waiting list,
nice.
as most of the nation probably does.
I have mine.
Yeah.
So there it is.
And are you carrying it every day?
365, but not 24/7.
Okay.
But I don't carry it up here. Actually, I will tell you, at the moment, I've got a 7-shot 357.
Yeah, because
That's my everyday carry.
Outdoor gun.
It's my outdoor gun. Yep.
Yeah.
With hard cast lead bullets. When you care enough to send the very best, is Hallmark used to say.
I love it.
Send it with lead.
So, but now, of course, I'm thinking, well, that's really good, but you could go to a 44, and that would be even better. It's like, it never ends. I mean, this is what we do. What's wrong with us?
So, Tom, in our quest, you had sent out not too long ago I guess you had just put it out there for anybody. You were trying to come up with some bumper sticker ideas. And we had a lady call in from South Texas. Her name was Jean. And she said, because we're talking about guns and knife rights and everything else. And she said she could just see scissors, knitting needles. She's like, I'm looking around an antique store and thinking, how many of these items are dangerous items? All of them. She's like, I can see us getting to the point where we go to a really nice steakhouse and they ask how large of pieces you want your steak to be cut up into because you're not allowed to have the knife when it gets to your table.
We have a government certified meat cutter here who will slice your steak up for you.
Right. But they're allowed to wield the knife.
We're laughing, but we used to have this store that just said, we're not going to sell any kitchen knives because there's so much knife crime.
Oh, gosh.
You guys have lost your mind.
Yeah. Well, she said her bumper sticker would read, people aren't getting dumber, they're getting stupider.
I'm not sure I understand the distinction, but that may be because I'm either dumb or stupid. So who knows?
It's like, if you thought they couldn't get any more dumb, they're just getting stupid.
Okay. That is. The stupid is, the stupid does. Yeah, okay.
But, it is kind of amazing where, if we don't, and I guess it's just one of those call outs, because if we don't start being active now, when the job, just because people have relaxed a little bit with where the presidency sits, that's going to be done in a couple more years.
Well, and I keep saying, this is our time to get ahead, to move ahead.
Right. Because
and I just saw horrors. I just saw a story today that Hillary wants to run again.
Please.
Really? I wish she would, because I think that she hurts the Democrats more than anybody I know, honestly. But somebody, either her or somebody like her, will get elected, and they will come in and make some inroads on gun control and restricting our rights. And we better have gained some ground so that when it goes backwards, we have some cushion built in.
Right. That's why,
and hopefully we get a few more conservative judges in the court.
Right. Well,
man, that's the real key. And that's what, how many times do we talk about that, guys? That's what we talk about for the election. That's the whole deal.
Yeah, absolutely. But, tweezers, scissors, the list could be endless.
Think about your basic fan for your house, and they used to be big enough that kids could stick their fingers in there, and we would stick pencils in there and let them hit the blades and go, And now they have to have grills that are so small that, no kid can put a finger in there, but also doesn't let a whole lot of air through. So
that's where I got the nickname Stumpy.
I love those old big fans. Those, now they're antiques, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can find them.
Yeah, they're cool.
Oh.
So, all right, Stumpy, it's time for you to start shopping for your birthday here.
Yes.
And I'm thinking we've given you some really good choices. There are a lot of really small. Oh, another one. Michelle, I don't know if you've seen it yet. The Springfield Armory 911.
Oh, yes.
That is a nice little pistol.
It
shoots
is.
Well.
Yep. As long as you like 1911 styles, right?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a given. If you don't, it's because you're either dumb or stupid. What can I tell you? So back to our bumper sticker. So there you go.
And it is not a play on 9/11. It's not a play on 911. It's just a shortened up version of the 1911.
So we left a number off 1911. We took the 1 off, and now it's a 911 because we couldn't get the whole thing on the gun. It's that small.
Yep. It's exactly it. But it's a nice shooting gun, from what I understand. We've sold several in the store. I haven't gotten a chance to shoot it.
I've shot it, and it really does shoot nicely.
Yeah. And like you say, the ammunition makes all the difference in the world.
You bet. Oh, yeah. And 380 more so than, when you get bigger cartridges, you can kind of get away with stuff. But in a 380, but look at it. You look at all the good defensive ammo that's available now for the 380. Mm-hmm. Pick one, and people go, well, that stuff's expensive. And?
Right. You're only going to shoot it so many times. You're going to train with it a couple of times, and then,
I want you to shoot 2 magazines of this expensive ammo through your gun. That's all you'll ever shoot through it of that ammo. And you'll carry it, and then if you ever have to pull the trigger to save a life, you'll be kind of glad you have really good, expensive ammo, because if it works, it saves your life or somebody else.
But really, relative, was it about $1 a round or so, probably? I mean, for 25, $25 for about 20 to 25 rounds, depending on the brand. But I mean,
and if you're shooting a small gun, you can shoot 2 magazines and still have 2 magazines worth of ammo left.
Yep.
And that's all you need.
So just don't be cheap.
Pass up having 4 Big Macs and you paid for the whole thing.
Okay, that's done for me.
And with that, I think we're done. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and we will look forward to doing it again next Sunday.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, Tom. Take care.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk after show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gundealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk after show.